welcome back to the channel and welcome to In the Name of Jerusalem 2. I was lucky enough to get my hands on a brand new beta build that is currently up to date for the current version of Bannerlord, which is 1.0.3. This is amazing news because I think the last time I played this we were back on like 0.6 or something, so definitely Bannerlord has come a long way in that time, and so has this mod. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at everything the mod does have to offer right now. It does have custom cultures you can pick from, and this is actually really important in the game because depending on what culture you pick, you're going to go ahead and join that kingdom right off the bat, get given soldiers, equipment from that culture. So for example, if I pick the Franks and we load into a campaign, you'll be immediately greeted with this screen right here showing that you have joined the said kingdom. So for example, I picked the Frank culture, so I joined the Kingdom of Jerusalem. We also get a really nice glimpse of all the civilian clothing. They've done an amazing job in this mod to not only make beautiful armors and weapons, but also just all the civilian clothing. And I think stuff like that makes a massive difference. So as you can see, we have now joined the Kingdom of Jerusalem right here. That's who we're going to be fighting for. You can see we are also currently in some wars to the north, and you can also get a nice little glimpse of the overall map. This is kind of the scale of it is actually an insanely large scale map with tons of settlements to go ahead and mess around with. And there's certain areas, for example, like Jerusalem, that is extremely dense with cities and castles and villages, which you're going to fight your way through. And then there's a lot more kind of open lands in the Sultanate of Rum lands. You know, there's a lot more open space, so there's a real nice kind of difference in the terrain you're going to be fighting in. And you're going to have to really think about when you are launching an offensive, you know, are you going through treacherous mountains or open terrain, or are you just be going from city to city, castle to castle, fighting, you know, brutal battles where enemy forces can reinforce and attack you at a whim. Obviously, as you can see, the actual map itself is humongous with tons of different factions to go ahead and mess around with. So I think it's going to be really interesting in the mod that you do start off as part of a kingdom. I believe you can just go ahead and click leave kingdom if you want to, if you really don't like that playstyle, but I think that's how the mod is supposed to be played, and that's how the developers want to kind of push forward. Some people will like that, I think some people won't. Some people really do like that wanderer stage at the beginning of the campaign, and as I said, it's not going to be hard just to, I guess, leave a kingdom and go and do your own thing if that's exactly what you want to do. But starting off with a decent retinue of soldiers, you start off with some knights, crossbowmen, slingers. Again, this will vary depending on what kingdom you join. For example, if you join the Romans or the Byzantines, that's going to be a completely different play style, and you'll be given different units, weapons, armors to go ahead and do. But yeah, as I said, I kind of like this kind of style of throwing you right into it. You know, it basically makes it so that you start off as like a minor lord and you work your way up, which I think will be really fun. You of course do start off with your own equipment as well, so you do get gifted in some decent equipment, which you can see right here. Just kind of a whole setup. It's not actually shown here, but I believe you can also have a bow and arrow as well. There's like a completely separate slot right here, which I don't think it is showing currently. So this means you can have a lance, shield, sword, mace, and a bow and arrow, which I think is a pretty cool way of going about it. Another very interesting thing that this mod does actually do when it comes to unit recruitment is that a lot of, I guess, militia, low tier peasantry soldiers only go up to tier 3, and they don't go ahead and go any further than that. You can see the slingers, for example, they start off, they go to experience, they go to veteran slingers, but they don't dramatically change in their armor. And that's going to be the same for the archers. Actually, I believe these are region specific archers. But if I go to the infantry, you can see, once again, the infantry doesn't dramatically change. They don't go from complete cloth to full plate or anything along them lines. They go to a tier 3, which is kind of all this soldier is expected to do. He gets some more padded armor, some better skills, some better weaponry, but he doesn't go to anything dramatic. And I actually really like this system because it means that you're going to be recruiting knightly, expensive armor-wearing soldiers separately to your peasantry. If, for example, I go to the Franks unit tree, you're going to see, like right here, these are the foot sergeants. You're going to have to recruit these guys completely separately from the peasants. And that's just a very unique and different way of doing recruitment. And I'm actually, really here for it. I'm excited to go ahead and see exactly how that does pan out and exactly how it does work. You know, you're recruiting a type of soldier and they're just getting more experience, but their gear doesn't dramatically change. And this is, of course, going to be the same for every single faction, and you can see the amount of units that a lot of these factions do have as well. They do range, and they've done a great job at filling out a lot of these rosters. Like even the Armenians are looking amazing. We have awesome units from the Rus, the Persians, even have a handful of units in there. There's some Templar units that are ready to go. And that's another thing with recruitment as well. There's going to be a lot of region-specific units you're going to want to go to. You're going to want to recruit and pick up, and they're going to be recruitable from certain areas of the map. Also, I will say you guys have probably seen this already, but there are a bunch of custom castles. All these custom castles are kind of planned out and made, so you'll be able to see them around the map. And something you may have noticed, of course, is there are a lot of islands on the map. You know, you have the awesome Crete right here, which I think would be perfect to start your very own empire in. You have Cyprus, and I believe Rhodes also has a settlement. Yeah, Rhodes also has a settlement on, and there's even a few more out here, a few villages as well out on the Greek islands. But yeah, it's really cool. So of course, because there are islands, you're gonna need to have naval travel as well, and these naval travel things are kind of fully implemented into the mod. There are no naval battles, but that is something, if possible and they have time to, they definitely do want to add later on down the line. But again, all these ships are custom made as well, and they look absolutely beautiful. Again, really trying to stick with the era appropriate. And again, I mean, just look at that. It looks absolutely incredible with the mountains in the distance. You've got bandits and looters roaming around. And yeah, I really like the design of these islands. Again, this would be like absolutely perfect to go ahead and set up your own empire. And again, Cyprus is independent, so this would be perfect to go ahead and start carving out your own kingdom. Another very impressive thing that this mod is trying to do is actually add in tile maps for the actual campaign. So that means basically wherever you're fighting on the campaign map, that's represented in the battle map itself. And only a few other mods are actually trying to do that. That's a very, very exciting prospect, because if I'm fighting on a bridge, I want a bridge to appear in the actual campaign map, and I want, you know, the actual terrain to look very much like it is, so it doesn't take me out of playing this in the name of Jerusalem. I'm not just playing another Bannerlord mod, I'm playing this separate game. You can also see as well they have gone ahead and created a ton of very cool settlement icons, and again, this stuff is going to be very much work in progress. As the mod gets more and more developed, you'll go ahead and really see more of these city maps and stuff get filled out. But I definitely think, you know, just for small details, having these houses set up like this, having everybody in their civilian clothing, having churches of the actual time period is just an amazing, and I really hope they go ahead and really find more uses for villages. It's something in Bannerlord I wish they would do more of, is give me a reason to come to these places. And there are mods out there that do help with that, but I definitely hope in the name of Jerusalem 2 does go ahead and push for that, because, you know, these things look beautiful and it'd be a shame if we didn't get to use them more. Something to add back as well is there's a lot of attention to detail actually on the campaign map. You can see these awesome sprites which represent the cities looking really cool, and again, a lot of these are custom made. Again, we've already seen Constantinople, I believe, in the video, but again, you can find that bad boy just up here in the north, and again, looking very nice. And there's several of these. I believe there's a really nice Bulgarian one up here somewhere. Oh yeah, no, right up here as well, looking very nice, going ahead and representing a lot of the historical cities. So let's end off the video with a battle so you guys can see some of the units up close and personal. This is a fairly large-scale army I brought to bear against this poor, unsuspecting character. Again, you can see some of the actual campaign map as well. I believe we were pretty close to a bridge, so that tile map coming in gloriously, and the units themselves look absolutely amazing. A pretty nice Crusader cavalry force right here. I brought to bear a handful of very, very decent lords, so you can see them, even the banners fluttering as well. Then we have a ton of crossbowmen and lightly armored units. Again, these are not going to be anything too crazy. The bowmen already picking off some shots on the assaulting enemy force, and the slingers as well lobbing off. You can see custom animations for the slingers. And then we have our main infantry line. Again, a lot of the foot soldiers themselves, if they are the lower tier peasantry, are going to be wearing decent armor. They're going to be more wearing that padded coats. I mean, you can see the differences between them and the foot sergeants. And yeah, I actually really do, the more I kind of think about it, I really do dig the actual recruitment system in this. Like, having them low tier soldiers never being able to advance makes, you know, your elite soldiers way more valuable. You can also see some of the attacking units as well. I believe this is one of the other factions alongside us. And you can see the impact of the maces as well. I do desperately want to go ahead and see if I can break this lance, because I think that would be really cool to see. So hopefully I can couch that. I'm not sure that if it depends. Yeah, there you go. You can see the lance has now broken off and is now basically just a big pole on a stick. I'm not sure how much damage this actually does when you do smash into it, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The mace, of course, doing a lot of damage. The cavalry running through. We tell the infantry to charge. You can see them just getting stuck in. And all the different colors, it'll be awesome. I think, again, if you add some cool mods with this as well, you'd be in a very, very good spot, like adding in some banner mods, RBM. That'd really go ahead and enhance it. You can see the mace, the weight of the mace also knocking people down as well, which is actually a really cool addition to it. But yeah, the lance breaking is really fun. I think that's a nice kind of different style of combat, and obviously very error appropriate. If I do smash someone at full speed, there's a good chance my lance will break. And I think that's just one of the exciting things about this mod as well. Is like, this is just like one kind of style of combat, one style of faction. Every faction in this mod is going to be playing kind of very, very differently. You know, the Crusaders are all going to be about their heavy infantry and knights, whereas you go over and you fight against like the Tsardom of Bulgaria or maybe the Sultan of Rum. You know, that combat is going to be very different depending on where you go. Also, as I've already mentioned, there are a bunch of small kingdoms as well that are ripe for the player to go ahead and start their own holy order, or, you know, whatever they want to do. That's definitely something you can role play. I think my role play definitely will be to maybe start my own holy order on Cyprus, or maybe Crete or Rhodes or something like that. I think it would be very cool. Maybe not Rhodes, because yeah, I imagine fighting the Byzantines of that wouldn't be the best thing in the world. If you guys want to quickly take a look as well at some of the Byzantine units, I can show you guys some of that if we have some recruit. Now, we actually can't recruit from them because they're not our culture and religion. That's also something I forgot to mention as well. Depending on where you are and what culture you are, that kind of dictates the type of soldiers you are going to be using. And I think for some people that might be a bit of a turn off, but again, there's gonna be plenty of sub mods with this that will allow you to probably customize it. You could bring in a mod like My Little Warband to make your own, very own, yeah, as I said, holy order earlier, or something else along them lines. And I think this is just a very exciting mod. It looks like it's really come a long way with the actual sheer scale of the campaign map. I mean, this is just, yeah, some really beautiful terrain, and it's only gonna get better and better as they add in more detail. They've done a great job with this. I could really find myself lost in the Turkish mountains for years. On top of that, the units themselves look amazing, and the mod itself is running way better on the latest update of Bannerlord, which is always a good sign. So be sure to drop a like and a comment if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more if you want to see more content like this, and let me know as well if you want to see me maybe do a mini playthrough on this mod. I'd be more than happy to on the current beta build. And of course, join the mods Discord as well. That way you'll be able to get up to date with all the latest information and updates whenever new ones do drop. I'll leave a link to that down below in the description. And finally, a massive shout out to the developers for sending this my way. I very much do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.